Kyle Monangai.
Oh,
Rutgers running back, 25 carries a game. I want to start the discussion with him because this is going to be a unique test because everybody in the stadium knows what Rutgers is going to do on early downs and short yardage downs. The question is, can this black shirt defense stop Kyle Monangai?
Oh, it's huge. You heard Tony White talking about it on Tuesday. Tony White, the Nebraska defensive coordinator, keeps his feet moving, has great balance. And then he talked about how Rutgers pushes the pile really well. It's just all things that, if you think about it too much, could become very uncomfortable. You don't want to see that you do not want to see on your home field Rutgers doing that stuff. Him bleeding through tackles and getting 6 when it should have been 2. Rutgers linemen pushing the pile and pushing it forward 4 yards. We've seen it. You don't want to see that on your home field. God, I hope Nebraska, the defense, they watch this film and say, we're not letting this happen.
Who was that Minnesota back a couple years ago that he kind of was that
Ibrahim.
way?
Yeah, Muhammad Ibrahim.
Yeah, Muhammad Ibrahim. Nebraska bottled him up in the first half. It was fine. And then the second half, they couldn't corral
Then he starts getting going.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Tony White struggled to think of a comparison, but one that jumps out to me is another former Rutgers running back, Isaiah Pacheco, and the fact that he just runs violent. Like you hit him, and then all of a sudden he's pushing you back 4 or 5 yards to turn a short game into a magic. And that's how they stay on schedule. And that's how Ethan Kaliakmanis, their quarterback, operates. They talk about how good their pass protection has been. It's because they're 2nd and 3, 3rd and 2. Like the defenses can't tee off on them with a pass rush. And so that early down running game is such a critical aspect of their offense. The reason it's so effective is because they have a back with the physicality and the ability to get the yards after contact that Kyle Monangai does. So, this is a deal where you have to be able to tackle on first contact, but also gang tackle. The entire defense needs to fly to the football because one guy getting him down is going to be very difficult. They need to tackle in swarms.
This will be for Ty Robinson, Nash Hutmacher, Jamari Butler, John Bullock, that front 7 group. It's Bayer,
all of them. We have all the front 7.
Now, will we get Tommy Hill back? And if he is back, how do you manage that Sierra Wright situation? Can you start both those guys?
I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know how you do that. I want to go back to Rutgers offense, though. Okay, the good news is, and we do this every week. We make these teams sound like Alabama when they're not. Rutgers does run it well. They're 8th nationally in rushing, I believe. They're top 10 team nationally in rushing. But you know what? There's 2 things, though. They're very simplistic. You don't have to prepare for much. It's a very simple scheme. The second thing is they don't throw the ball well. They don't have receivers that are going to kill you. This is not like Pat Bryant of Illinois. I don't want to talk about Pat Bryant like he's Randy Moss, but he's they're good. And they had another guy that was good. His name's escaping me. Yeah. They don't have Rutgers isn't going to come here with that.
So the good news again for Nebraska, talking about scheme, is that Rutgers is going to do a little bit what you and I did, and a lot of what Illinois did, and a lot of what Purdue did, especially at the beginning of that second half. So they've seen this style for going on 4 straight weeks. So that part of it isn't going to catch them off guard. Where you go back to UNI, Illinois, they went from like 5 wide, not even trying to run the football offenses, to a power Big Ten style attack. So that familiarity and being able to translate a lot of their game plan and work on the things that didn't go right in those first few games against especially UNI and Illinois, I think will be a benefit to Nebraska because they have seen it and they know exactly what they need to do better to stop that.
Right. I think they can load up the box is what I'm getting at. Nebraska. Kaliakmanis doesn't throw.
He didn't throw it better or against them well against Minnesota with better wide receivers.
Yeah, he doesn't throw it well downfield.
He'll throw about 2 balls a game that are 20 yards or more down the field.
Right. They just don't do it. So you should be able to load up the box a little bit, right?
And look, you look at if Tommy Hill's back and Sierra Wright. These are bona fide high level corners.
What do you do there, by the way? What do you do?
Well, I think
playing them both.
The message board guy would like this. They would like Tommy Hill and Sierra Wright to start at corner. They would like Marquise Buford to take Malcolm Hartzog's spot.
Okay, and Rover.
And then and Hartzog would come off the bench. Now, I don't know if that's the direction they would go, but the data, the numbers that Robin breaks down on the defensive breakdown would suggest that would make sense.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Hartzog's been their lowest graded defensive back, and he's also, I think, leading them in interceptions. So it's kind of a two-way street there. But
they go at him a lot.
Yeah, they do. He gets targeted quite a bit. And what was weird is he was matched up against Purdue's tight end last
Max
week,
Clare,
who is by far their only legitimate receiving threat.
Well, here's my question to you guys: is that, and this is what I thought in the press box. I probably should have asked Tony White today. Do you match Malcolm against that player because you feel good about Malcolm? I mean, Malcolm, you're going to have their best guy. Well, that tells you they must feel pretty good about him, or is that just the way it worked out?
It's a tight end.
Yeah, I mean, your smallest defensive back against a potential NFL level tight end.
So why would you have him on?
Yeah, I know.
And why would you
Was that a
criticize
breakdown?
Malcolm Hartzog?
Was that a breakdown?
Right. I don't know, but I don't really criticize Malcolm for being undersized and matched up in that situation. That's more of a, I don't know. I mean, yeah. I think it might be they felt good about it.
The thing about this whole conversation, though, is it's all dependent on Tommy Hill's pain threshold. Right. And, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me at all if they sit him another game.
And then he has the bye week.
Then he has the bye week, and then all of a sudden he's as healthy as possible against much more significant passing attacks in Indiana, Ohio State, USC.
Guys,
he's got to be healthy for that.
Sierra Wright has more breakups, 3, than the entire starting group of the secondary does combined.
He's good. I
mean,
he's
a gamer.
You can see it. It's not hard to see. He does pretty well in run support too. He's not that big, but he throws himself in there pretty well. Now he got
dinged up a little
bit. He's seen what the Big Ten's all about, but he seems to like it. They say he loves the game, super smart, and there he is, and he has talent. So yeah, I'd watch Tommy Hill pretty closely in warmups, and then there'd be a decision to make if he's ready to go.
He put his acting career on hold. He said, I thought that I asked him that today. I just said, are you still? And he's like, no, because at USC, he was kind of doing both. And that was an issue, I think, with Lincoln Riley at points where it just didn't work to do the acting and the football both.
Well, Tony White says he's one of those guys who loves football.
He's got a laid back swag.
But
a great personality, though.
He brings it. He brings it when it's time, in practice and games. That's good. That's a great quality.